Whoa! What is going on?
Hello.
Welcome back to the Flannel Panel, everybody. We have a special episode. We have the one and only Conway with us. Conway, welcome to the show.
Well, I appreciate you guys having me. When I found out the compensation for doing a special guest appearance, I was all in. So appreciate it.
Is that MF'er pick?
We will double it for you.
That's the MF'er pick, right? Yeah, Troy's going to get him out.
Those things are showing up all over the country right now.
It's amazing. Right. Hand delivered.
Whiskey
Hand delivered. Well, welcome back. We got a fun show. We have Corey, Jason, Troy. Ty is unfortunately fishing in the great Colorado vastness, so he won't be able to make it, but he's probably having a heck of a time. And we're going to have a fun show tonight. So welcome back. If you're here, we got a fun couple, I guess, topics we're going to get to. Conway, you're a big car guy, right?
Yeah, I'm a big car guy. I'm a big garage guy more than the cars, but yeah, I'm a big car guy.
Big garage guy, so you can have a lot of cars. Yeah. And I think the rest of us are all car guys, so this should be a fun one. And then music. Music's a fairly big one, right?
Oh, for sure. So I got to tell you, I'm a type A, so I run a little hot. So I was driving around today overthinking things, and I was trying to figure out what stories I could tell, and I'm like, well, shit, I can't tell that one because I'll probably get canceled for it. And what if I don't swear enough since they put it as a motherfucker? And then I'm like, fuck it, let's just go.
There we go.
Stories. It'll be fine. Yeah, by the way, if your kids are watching, now would be a good time to mute the feed.
Yeah, we should have put it. Yeah.
It would sound like Morse code. No.
I figured the MF'er would be a good enough, a well enough warning for everyone. Nat's hanging out with us. Look at those handsome devils. I think she's talking about Jason specifically. Yes.
No, I'm pretty sure it's the other four.
The other three. I was like, oh, now we have to figure out.
I'll figure out which one.
Whoa, what do you guys got going on? Do you have anything in your glass to start off with?
I do. I figured a special night like this deserves a special pour.
Oh, there you go.
A really good friend of mine give me this bottle. He owns Garage Living, and when he came up to visit last winter, he let me have some. So we are poured the Dickel 15. I'm all into the Dickel, as we know.
Yeah.
And I'm going to toast Conway with his own whiskey. So
yeah, that was awesome. Fun. That was a barrel that we did for all of our special customers.
Toast Conway with his own Dickel, and that would have been
not up yet. I need to.
Do you do that a lot, Conway?
That's why
barrel picks, or is that?
No, that's the first one we did. We've done where we bought half a barrel and done them as gifts, but this is the first one that we really went all out. We had the bottles engraved with our logo and all that fun stuff. And
wow,
yeah, it's really cool.
That's awesome. That's the one that was in the 12 days pour, wasn't
Correct.
it?
Yeah. It's I mean, I think it's one of those that not everyone's going to love for sure. It's pretty complex. It's a little different. I too like the mineral taste. It's not terribly mineral. It's old enough that it's not too bad, but I like it.
Yeah, I remember liking that one a lot. That's great.
I've got a little Rye the Lightning, so doing a little of that with my Velvet Turtle glass.
Oh, hold up, hold that.
Oh,
hold that glass up. Let's.
Yep, single.
That's amazing.
That's a funny story too.
And that's a good. Yeah, I was just gonna say that's a story right there.
Yeah, the if you'll indulge me, so the. I don't know what it was. It was one of the shows. I think it was one of the Greases or the podcast shows. They were talking about things being stolen or whatever from restaurants. And I was laughing that when I was a kid, we used to go to this restaurant called the Velvet Turtle that was next to the Stanford campus where Hewlett Packard was based, and my father worked there. And I remember being very young and sitting back, and my father got an after dinner drink, and they bring the drink in this glass, and I'm like, oh, Dad, it's just like the ones you have at home. And got this major kick under the table because apparently he had been stealing them for the last several years to have his full collection at home. So I shared that story. And Will actually went online and found a set of 4 of them that had never been in circulation, brand new, and got them to me. And then the story just kept going from there. So the restaurant closed in 1986, which was when my father passed away. These were non-circulation, so they were from that 1986 time frame. And then my son heard about that, and he went out and he got a barrel head for me, and he had it custom done with the logo for Christmas last year.
Oh,
So this is
wow.
kind of this on and on.
Oh,
That's
Yeah, it
awesome.
was fun.
that's awesome.
Yeah, it was fun.
Very cool. And what a story.
Would have been better if it was true, right?
Well,
Listen, you tell the story like it's true, it becomes true. If you say it enough
Don't let
It's
truth
true.
get in the way of a good story. Yeah.
Right. There wasn't nearly enough cuss words in it either.
But give me a moment.
yeah. Have some more of that. Ride the lightning. Troy, what do you got in that Bar Night cup?
Nothing too fancy, but this is a bottle I found in the back of the cabinet. This is an old, I've had this for 3 or 4 years. This is a Jefferson's Ocean cast strength bottle that needs finished up. So,
No, that's got to be gone by
You're
the end.
getting after it. Yeah.
yeah. I
Troy's
almost
so funny.
grabbed.
He always complains about not having good stuff, and then it's always something interesting.
Yeah. I got this old, Jefferson Ocean from 7 years ago. That
Yeah.
Well, just because I don't drink it doesn't mean it. I mean, you can't. Things don't become a dusty just because you took 3 years to drink them. I don't think.
I don't think, Troy, you have issues finishing bottles either.
No, it looks like a bottle graveyard around this table here.
What's the last few you killed?
Oh, there's a wild turkey sitting here. I've got the tumbling dice, the one that Clint gave me a couple weeks ago, and I thought there was one more sitting here. I don't know. That's it. Just those 2.
Nice. I'm drinking some rare breed.
Oh, yeah, you can't beat it.
Yeah, wild turkey rare breed. Just a little bit though, and some tea because it's been a long day. So my voice is a little messy.
All that
Well-
math.
Oh, math is the my nemesis. Yeah. Speaking of cars, I'm really good at those. I can fix those really well, but they got me teaching math. So, well, that's it. So let's get into some car stuff because Jason loves to talk about cars and like stories about cars. So I'm really looking forward to some of these. But what's the ultimate car in your opinion, Conway? Now it
The
could
ultimate
be
or my ultimate?
like your ultimate, doesn't matter what is, money, any of that stuff, and then let's give like maybe an attainable one if it's not attainable as it is.
Yeah, so so many of those things are emotional, right? So I remember being younger and driving in my Mitsubishi Colt with all 88 horsepower of it, it had a 4x2 transmission in it, just this weird high-low manual shifter, and getting passed by a guy in a 69 Camaro Super Sport with just a modified exhaust on it hanging below the thing, and he's just going all out. And I just thought that was the coolest thing in the world. I was like 16, 15 at the time, and I happened to be born in 1969, so that fit pretty darn well. So that's high on the list. I think the 69 through 71 Corvette's pretty high on the list as well. Right now, if I was buying something, I probably look pretty seriously at the last generation, the Cadillac ATS-V with the 400 horsepower motor is pretty interesting.
Amen.
The Cadillac Blackwing, it's a CT6 now, I guess. The Blackwing is pretty freaking cool. I've always been into Corvettes, but I don't know. So once you, I think, go and you drive on the track and you do those things, I used to race go-karts for a little bit, not at any high level, just totally recreational, but you just realize how much performance is in a car and how little you get on the street. And so, that old saying, driving a slow car fast is more fun than a fast car slow. And there's a certain truth to that. So
You're not wrong.
I missed something, and Nat is definitely on the ball. Corey, what are you drinking?
All right, you can keep talking about cars. I'll just keep drinking. We get drinking. I this came in the mail today.
Ooh,
Look at
Nat
that.
riff. Look at that new riff.
This bottle, Conway, also has the Need for Speed. So it's
Nice.
I saw your video today.
That's awesome. Aaron Barry's here. What's up, guys? Tommy D and the one and only Michelle Fusco
Hey.
is watching as well. So welcome, guys. Those of you in the comments, what's your favorite car, and what memory might you have with it? So
I'll give you something, not my favorite car.
All right.
So my father was an engineer, and like so many engineers, he believes that you can just do anything if you got a hacksaw and maybe earplugs, probably not. We used to clean our hands with gasoline and pour it in the backyard when we were done, that kind of thing. But he decided that we needed a pickup truck, but it was in the mid 70s, late 70s, where the horsepower is just totally sucked out of these things. So he goes out and he buys a 1976 Cadillac Coupe de Ville, really low mile car. And we proceeded to cut the trunk out of it, the back seat, half of the roof, and we literally turned it into an El Camino.
Yes.
So I'd drive to school in this big fucking thing. It's got 1,000 pounds plywood in the back and all of the, fiberglass and Bondo in this thing. So I drove that all over the place. 500 cubic inch engine, 300 horsepower. I think it got all of 8 gallons or 8 miles per gallon on it.
I think you got it right. 8 gallons.
Oh yeah, we pulled all the we pulled the emissions off the thing and we turned it back into a leaded gasoline car. It was just ridiculous. But that was what I drove to high school.
My cousin Mitch did that. My family's all mechanics. I'm the first in 3 generations of Reeves not to be an auto mechanic, so I'm pretty sure it's wildly disappointing. Like, he just talks. That's it. So, but my cousin Mitch, they turned a Chevy Vegas station wagon into like a tiny El Camino. So it's a similar story, except that we'd have to get the 5 of us to push that sumbitch uphill because it was the most underpowered little car ever. But it was a fun. It turned into, it very much looked like a Subaru Brat, if you remember that.
Sure. Yeah.
So it was a little tiny thing, but it was kind of a fun little car.
Yeah. Well, this was fun because it looked like a massive Cadillac from the front, and it was a shocker when people would see the thing turn, and you got 4 assholes in the thing driving around. Yeah.
Sound like my kind of dudes. So, yeah.
I actually grew up Orthodox car guy because
I'll
explain that close. But my grandfather, I think I mentioned last week with the Bel Air shirt. 50 years Pontiac, GM through and through, but he was also a purist. Everything he built had to have numbers matching or he wasn't going to waste his time. And there was no hot rodding with him. You did it right. You did it perfect. But I mean, they were beautiful. But yeah, if I tried to do something quirky with that, he'd just throw it out of the garage.
Troy, what about you? Do you have any car stories, or what's your favorite car?
Not really. Well, I'm not really a car guy, but I would say my favorite car, or my dream car, is a 1970 Chevelle Super Sport. One, because I was born in October of '69, so that's kind of the year that came here. That was when that was coming out.
Oh, you're a baby.
The main reason is not too many muscle cars or sports cars that I can fit into. So that is, a bigger car. So I think I can squeeze into that.
I don't remember, but I know the Pontiacs at that era, they had a seat that actually flipped around so that you could flip it and face backwards into it when you were parked.
Nice.
Chevelle may have had that as well. I had one of those too. I had all the great cars, and no one liked them.
I know for sure that Buick Riviera had a spinning seat for a little while, where you could pivot it to get out, and then you'd sit locked back into place when you got in.
Yeah. But if you did it enough, it would go all the way.
Yeah. Over-engineered, but that's awesome.
I went to high school with a girl like that.
And if you around the back seat enough, it'd go all the way.
Yeah.
If you fidget around in the back seat enough.
Yeah. I'm in the not so humble opinion that 1968 was the best year for vehicles of all time. I really, pretty much everything in 1968 was a work of art. But
leaded gas and low emission standards. Let's go.
Exactly. Just before the. So anyway, but that's funny because my favorite is also mine's a 68 Chevelle Super Sport. That or a 68, 69 AMX.
Oh, that would be
hard to get,
but that'd be cool too.
Yes.
They made like 5 of them, or at least sold.
Yeah, exactly. Short wheelbase, 390 motor. I mean, come on.
I like it. Nat's dream car, the Cadillac CL or Seal. What is
that's
that?
CL. That's a good choice.
That
thing is beautiful.
She wants to get on the waiting list when the new, supposedly, what is it? The Eldorado. They're going to resurrect the Eldorado with that Seal concept, and she's been dreaming about that ever since she heard about it.
Do you think they will? I mean, no one's buying cars anymore.
I doubt it. Honestly, it might stay a concept, but.
And Andrew West, a Porsche 917 or a 959, if we're talking about unattainable dreams.
Ooh.
So those are the kind of cars I'm talking about. I probably wouldn't fit into.
Yeah, they're tight.
I think my unattainable is, if we're shooting the moon, it's the Mercedes AMG GT Black series is just amazing.
Yeah, you like those AMGs.
I love them, and I'm not really a huge like European fan. It's just the styling of that vehicle and the performance. And I hate to humble brag, but honestly, I really am driving my dream car of all time.
Yeah,
And that we have it.
Ooh.
It was honestly, it was unattainable. It was unattainable. And then when Nat and I got together, she had just got her doctorate or her license, her certification. And we went out celebrating. She wanted to buy a car, and we found that one. And it's a 2014 Cadillac CTS-V coupe. And there's a funny, go ahead. Yeah, beautiful. There's a funny story behind that too, because the salesman actually saved me. Well, he did us a favor because it was down to that, and then they also had a 2015. It's the Cadillac. It's the CTS, but it was the sport model. It had the V6. It's a beautiful car, but it's not a CTS-V. And it was red, so I thought she was going to pick the red one because she got all vetoes. And we test drove the V first, and it was amazing. And then we drove the red one. And while we're driving the red one, he leans into Nat and he goes, "Well, if I may, ma'am, say this, that I feel like this car is more your speed." And anybody that knows Nat knows that you don't talk down to Nat.
Interesting question.
And then she's let all of us know that I'll have you know that my very first car was a 71 Mach 1 with the 351, and I can handle this car.
So awesome. was the little car was the coupe the more expensive one?
Yes. Oh yeah.
So first of all, he's a brilliant salesman because he made you drive that first.
Price. I apologize. They were equal in price.
Okay.
Within 2,000, but the other Cadillac was the
more expensive car first, and then said, "I don't think you can handle the other one." That's just a brilliant salesman knowing that you're going to pick the first one just out of pure spite.
No, they were within $2,000 of each other, but the red one was more luxury and sporty. It was Cadillac. I mean, they're both Cadillac, but you know what I'm saying. The V's. And I asked her, she says, "Your opinion?" I said, "They're both great cars, but the V is just an iconic car that will always be in style." So,
yeah, that's cool.
But I was biased.
So I'm going to revert to asshole just for a second here. I cannot get this image out of my head of Troy and Jason sitting in a Miata going down the street, and people going, "What the fuck is that that just went by?" The dashes to here,
I like it. It'd be like the dudes in the little hot rod Model Ts where they, the chop top coupes.
Yeah, they got to lay down in them
above the windshield line. I love it. Let's go.
Or look like the Rotary Club and those little mini cars in the parade.
Back in the day, I had a commuter car, and it was a '92 Geo Metro convertible.
Oh my!
Fuchsia. It was the metallic pink.
You know what? That makes a lot more sense now, Jason. Based on the stylist and
3-cylinder. That was straight up out of necessity. It got 50 miles a gallon, and I needed every dollar.
All 3 cylinders.
But it was funny watching all the deputies drive by. I actually drove by on the way to work. There was an accident on the way home from work. There was an accident, and all the deputies were out dealing with the accident, and they were guiding traffic. And as I was turning left, I turned right in front of them, and they all just hit the ground laughing, seeing me in that thing.
You were an officer driving that thing?
Oh, yeah, I was like I said, it was like driving a go-kart, 3-cylinder motor. It wasn't pretty, but it got 50 miles to the gallon. I wanted to just write that on the hood. It gets 50 miles.
Less like a go-kart, more one of those play school plastic cars.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Tommy D throwing out a nice one here. 89 GNX. That's a fantastic vehicle. I was behind one of those the other day. It was nice to see. And then Nat throwing out a 1955 Sunbeam Alpine Baby Blue Series 1 Roadster from the movie To Catch a Thief with Grace Kelly and Cary Grant. That sounds like an unattainable dream.
That's probably her first car.
Yeah, that's true. That's like, what do you mean unattainable? I had that.
Yeah.
Now Jason's like, we got to go find one of those.
Oh, believe me.
I said it was unattainable. It's happening.
Yeah. Challenge accepted.
And Zach Jones, I was minus 21 years old in 1968.
Technically, I was -2 in 68. So,
all right.
You guys about the same age, practically.
Yeah. Troy's getting in trouble from that. So Corey, you had an El Camino as well as one of your first vehicles, right?
My first car was an El Camino. My dad and I rebuilt it. So yeah, we jammed a 400 small block in that son of a bitch, and it would light the tires up every time it shifted gears if you stood on it hard enough. And it was back in the good old days because it was a 79 El Camino that the speedometer went up to 85. Max them out, so you could just set it on the peg and literally tell people, honestly, I don't know how fast it goes because the speedometer stopped at 85.
It goes about 85.
Yeah, it goes about 85-ish. Yeah, that was a fun little car. It's slotted aluminum, old school mag wheels, and yeah, that car was cool.
That was cool. What color was it? Two-tone?
No, it was originally red and had a white vinyl top, and we peeled the white vinyl top off of it and repainted it kind of a aqua blue color, very 90s, and blocked out all the trim. So
did you peel all the rust off when you peeled it off?
Maybe. Yeah, we kind of realized halfway through that project that might have not been the greatest idea. So
that was the structural piece of the roof.
A little bit of extra bondo. Yeah, it's okay. So yeah, that was cool. My pops and I built a couple cars. We built a custom 52 International truck that we chopped 4 inches out of the top and did some cool custom work on that and turned it into a hot rod truck with Y-wall tires. And I two-toned the paint. The truck was flat black, except the fenders were orange with flames on it, and put Cadillac taillights in the back of it and everything. So it was like, I don't know if it's a one of one, but you don't see a whole lot of chop top International Farmall pickups at custom car show. So
when did you do this?
Cody was like 6, so like 10 years.
Oh gosh.
12 years
So you're way ahead of the time doing a flat black.
Yeah. Like it looked totally different. In the paint that we used was actually the flat black that they used to paint the undercarriage of John Deere tractor.
Oh, that's cool.
So it was just a matte black paint. It worked with the Farmall kind of theme. So we painted everything but the fenders, and then we painted the fenders a gloss orange, kind of a burnt orange color, and then did ghosted in root beer flames on the tops of the fenders. And yeah, it was cool. So, and then I sold it so I could put an air conditioner in my house because parenting sucks. Yeah. Dream car is a 65 AC Cobra 427.
Okay.
It's not super attainable because of the price, but the attainable version is the kit car that you can build.
The kits are,
and park in your garage. So one day I will build one of those. Like that'll happen.
The kit's a hell of a lot less scary.
Yeah.
The real ones are just all sorts of screwed up.
Yeah. Terrifying car.
What draws you to that, Corey? What appeals to you?
The old school Cobra are just total badass machines. It's just like, hey, how big a motor can we put in a really tiny British car? It's like, so it's a sports car, but it's not fast enough. So if we have to jump up and down on this motor to wedge it in the engine compartment, that's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
And there's no creature comforts. There's no nothing. No heater, no air conditioner, no stereo. No, you listen to the rumble of the side pipes, and you are warmed up because the engine is jammed up against your feet. You shift, no top. So like, let's go. That's pretty sweet.
So I had a business partner way back when, and his dad was a race car driver while I was in med school. And he used to race out at Mosport. So Ian, in your part of the world. And
right next door.
He'd warm up some of the Cobras during race weekends. And he said it was just absolutely terrifying. You know, you'd come down the main straight, the long straight, and you'd hold one hand up in the air to try and dry it off. And then on the next lap, you'd hold the other one up in the air to try and dry it off because you're sweating so badly trying to manhandle this thing around.
Yeah, they're pissed. It's just like angry, like strapping yourself to a bull, I think would like the equivalent of that car. So
a bull without brakes.
Yeah, that's pissed. So I do own the next custom project. I want to build another custom chop top car. So I have the car, but we haven't started the project. But I have a 1957 Lincoln Premier, and it's in the garage in Winfield, Kansas. So it's a full resto, but the whole the engine is not in it, but the whole rest of the car is there. And I've got replacement front fenders and a replacement hood, and like the whole bit. So then that is an old school, classy, long fins, like badass gangster looking car. So it'll be cool. One day
You have to put the swivel seats in it.
I'll put all of it.
I think my grandpa would roll over in his grave when I say this. So sorry, Grandpa. But I don't think if I was ever to restore anything, I would only drive a resto mod, because driving the old ones are so much fun, and just like we were saying, they're so dangerous. I would like, if I had that 68, if I would get it, it would totally be a new car underneath. The only thing I would have left is the pretty shell.
All the 52 truck, Jason, was dropped on top of a 1996 donor Chevy Silverado. So we cut the cab and like everything off all the way down to the frame, straighten the frame so it would fit, and set the international cab on it, welded the floors and the firewall together so it had cruise control and air conditioning and
stuff,
power box and the whole thing. So yeah, it was for the exact same reasons, because you can't stop the other car.
We had a customer who just sold a bunch of cars at auction, and I can't remember if it was Barrett Jackson or Meekum. I think it was Barrett. One of the cars, somehow, I don't know how he got it, but somehow he had the body of a split window Corvette, but he didn't have the underside of it. So he ended up getting a Corvette Z06, the previous generation Z06, ended up modifying the whole thing to put this thing on top of it. It's just ridiculous. I mean, every inch of it inside is leather. You've got what is it, 650 horsepower, something stupid like that. I mean, but it looks like a muscular split window Corvette. It's really cool.
Dope.
Wow.
There's a dude in town, Conway, here in Manhattan, that's got a old school Charger that is on the modern chassis with the Hellcat motor and the whole bit. Like, bought a wrecked one basically, and they pulled all the guts out of it. So it's got like the console is modern, the motor's modern, the seats are modern, and then it looks old from the outside until you get in and start it. That's pretty. I mean, and why wouldn't listen? If you're going to sell a full rotisserie restoration and for $1 bazillion, great. But I'd rather drive it than rub it with a diaper. So if we're going to do that, let's make it drivable, right?
Exactly.
That Hellcat.
Ian, what's your car, Ian?
I'll just say that Hellcat would be a fun frame to play with.
Oh yeah.
Drop anything on that and you'll have some fun. My car would be a 69 Camaro, 427, 4-speed. That would be what I'd be going with.
Very fast in a straight line. Doesn't stop.
My dad had one until right when I was born, so that was the what he should have kept and I could have had, but so maybe one day we'll try and find something like it. But yeah, that would be that. Or like, I'm younger than you guys, so Gone in 60 Seconds, the remake with Nick Cage, the none other, came out with Eleanor, and that 69 Mustang's right up there. So yeah.
So there's some YouTuber, I can't remember the guy's name, but he's out of Portland, Oregon, and he was trying to build like a replica Eleanor off of a 5-liter Mustang chassis, and he got big enough that Ford or Shelby, I guess it was Shelby, found out about it, and they did a cease and desist, took him to court. They took everything. They took the car, they took all the mods. Like, he'd been working on it for months, and they just took the whole thing away.
The dudes that were making the GT California Ferrari, that was the one that they crashed in Ferris Bueller. Those dudes, the same way, got sued in the 80s. They took their whole company away because it was too close to the actual Ferrari. And there's a dude that's on, I want to say it's Netflix, like Gotham Garage or something like that. They got their ass sued off because they were making a replica Batmobile without permission.
Oh, really?
Some of the stuff is just utter bullshit. There's one of the guys, and I don't follow all this sort of pop culture stuff, but my sons do, and he had a Ferrari. It was his Ferrari. He took the badging off and put his own badging on it with his own logo, and he got a cease and desist from Ferrari because he was making videos with his vehicle in it. He owned it.
Yeah,
and it's just incredible the way these guys brands.
John Cena actually got in trouble like that.
He got in trouble for selling it, and he didn't sign a contract.
Disney sent one to a dude who
I saw that. That's what I was gonna say.
Lightning McQueen.
Yeah,
it looked too much like Lightning McQueen.
He had a BRZ that had the logos and everything on it, but so he can't do that.
Because he
Well, I guess he can't make videos with it. That's the issue.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can't profit off of it.
Yeah. But it looked cool. It was a pure lightning McQueen.
it was sweet.
I've seen some tater tow trucks knockoffs before, but they don't seem to mind that, huh?
It's Mater, not Tater.
What is it, Mater?
Yeah, Tater is
Oh,
to go and buy whiskey, line up for Blanton's.
I
That's
get
Troy's
confused.
truck, the tater truck, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I just go off a tater truck.
Yeah, it's parked down in front of the liquor world at 6 a.m. on Saturdays. I'm waiting for the Buffalo Trace delivery.
All right, Corey, I have to apologize to you for making fun of you the last few times. I'm fucking sweating my ass off. in
Yes.
this shirt right now. I'm just fucking dying.
Yeah.
These flannels
I'm
are a
in the
commitment.
closet, like I'm
Yeah.
literally in a freaking closet because I have nowhere in my house that I can hide out. So I'm just dying. There's no air flowing here.
Got this. I look so good because these goddamn lights are on in here. Fucking sweating my ass off. I got shorts on with this flannel shirt. Like, is that?
God.
Here's and Kim's like, "You wearing shorts and a flannel shirt?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go do the show, and it's hot."
Gotta get like dress shields under my arms here.
We didn't think through the concept.
In the summer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, mine's not so bad.
Yeah.
In Texas.
Yeah,
Move up here. You're pretty much good all year round. Or where Ty is. It should be pretty chilly where Ty is right now. He's fishing the Taylor Reserve, and if you haven't checked it 8 times up on YouTube, he just went live a couple times. And if you're into fishing at all, it's definitely worth watching some of those lives and what they're going to try and pull off. So
they're gonna catch some giant damn fish. Like
yeah.
photos. I feel so. I can't go. I wanted to try to go with those guys this year, and I've got a charity fundraiser event that I'm already committed to tomorrow. So the timing was just not great. But then Ty, to rub it in, like kept pinging me photos of like enormous fucking fish that they caught the last times they were there. It's like, are you sure you're not coming? I'm like, God damn it, dude! Like, you have to. And listen, I don't go on the fishing trips for the fishing. And then he started pinging off like all the list of all the food that they were going to have and all the food they were going to drink, and which was way more enticing than just catching the fish. But yeah, they're going to have a hell of a time. I'm excited for the recap. I think Will have a fantastic time with them, but
Yeah.
8 times up recap after that trip is over will be pretty crazy.
For sure. The salmon are running up the rivers in here. So I might go out this weekend, and like the salmon from Lake Ontario are huge. So I might try and pull like a huge salmon, take a picture with them and be like, what'd you guys catch? Because they're like in my sister's backyard. I can just go in the backyard in the river and throw it out. So we'll see. But
Have you ever had Copper River salmon? It's a West Coast thing, but the river's super, super cold.
no.
So the fish is just bright red because of the extra fat and things in it. I mean, they'll sell it at Costco and stuff like that, but it's ungodly expensive. But it is the best salmon I've ever had personally.
Yeah, the best salmon I've ever had was on the island, on Vancouver Island or Victoria Island, sorry, driving up the coast. And it was just a shop on the coast, like right on the beach. And they caught the salmon like half an hour earlier, and they cook it for you. It was awesome, like bright red, like you're talking about. So nice. That'd probably be the best fish that I've ever had. But Lake Ontario is not the best eating fish, I don't think. But at least where I might be. Yeah.
So I still have a couple of these 12 Days of Christmas little bits left over. So I don't know whose was the vulgar display of Christmas, but that's what I'm drinking.
That's
now.
Corey's.
So.
That's
Is it
Corey.
That's figures. I figured that might be with the vulgarness.
That's mine. The vulgar display of Christmas is a single barrel pick of I have it right here. Actually.
It's shocking that they have Saint Anger, you know.
Yeah.
The Blue Note single barrel.
Oh.
Oh, is it? Well, okay, it's delicious. It's got a lot of fruit flavors.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, since half the group is here on screen, it's getting to that time.
Yeah.
No, I have to send out the video.
Well,
I
I'm
just
just realized
realized
again.
I had my Bourbon Tree set right here last year, so I don't know where I'm gonna, we're gonna have to stop the podcast for 3 months while the tree's up.
It's going
Oh,
while the team's away.
it's called the background, Troy.
Mm-hmm.
Just sit in front of it.
Okay.
It'd be fast. Yeah, it'd be great.
I just want to see you like open the branches to
Yeah.
talk.
Yeah.
Just the peephole.
Like a squirrel on Christmas vacation.
Yeah. That'd be perfect.
Jason, I'm not waiting for an invite. I'm just coming. So just tell me a date, and I'm bringing my bottle. I'm coming.
Oh.
Bada boom.
Okay, well,
I can't wait.
Yeah, that was pretty fun last time. So I got there a day before and rode with Jason to go pick up Conway from the airport. And so there's two different like little crosswalk areas at the Salt Lake airport, which, by the way, is the longest fucking walk of all time. Like,
I'm telling you.
you have to
like, who the fuck who designed this thing? Like, let's make it a long pencil-like shape and have no way to do it except walking.
like it's a tube, right? Like it's just couldn't be further to get to the exit. Well, and when you do, if you there's only like one place where you can cross the street to get across the traffic part, which you'd assume would be first. Then you have to go across another street area to get to where they can pick you up. So it's kind of backwards intuitive. So Conway comes across, and I can see him, and he sees me, but he can't get to the cross. So this motherfucker just walks all the way down the end across traffic, like does not no shits. Like his suitcase goes like over a fence thing to me, like an embankment, and then just like. And then we're in the truck and we're off. So it was fine, but it was.
I was so irritated by that point. There's no fucking way I was walking back in the airport, going up 3 flights of stairs to go over a bridge.
Across the whole tunnel to go down. I was like, you got to go back in and over. And he's like, fuck that. I do not have to do that. Watch this.
And you know, Jason's so nice. He's almost Canadian. He's so polite, and he's just like looking around. Oh my god, what is he doing?
Yeah, Jason's like, I'll get your bag. I'll carry it in. I'll get it.
I'll go get it.
I've got to the point where it's my new travel hack where it's easier to pick y'all up at the arrivals. So if you just take the elevator to the arrival, you're just right there.
No.
That's what I did with JT. I said, meet me at arrivals. I pull up, he runs in, throws it out, and we're off. So
we always talk about how nice Jason is, but I'll give you an example. So that same trip, I had some god awful flight that early in the morning, and I'm gonna Uber it. And Jason's, no, I'll take it. I'm like, no, I'm not getting, you're not getting up. Like, enjoy your night, drink a few more drinks, I'll go to bed. I'm just going to get an Uber, have fun. I didn't trust his ass. So I got up like an extra hour and a half early from when I had to get up. And I go out, I sneak out, and I didn't get the Uber until I got like 3 blocks down his street by this gate, this electronic gate down there. And I stood there. And I get this text, where are you? And I'm like, I'm at the airport, but I'm literally standing, like 10 homes away from his house, just hidden around the corner.
It's probably good that Jason didn't drive you to the airport that morning. He's had to still be buzzed AF because we drank a lot that night after you cashed it in because he got buffaloed like 2 or 3 times that night. And so he was already fairly spent. And then we continued to drink after you cashed in the chip.
Yeah. I've been drinking with my left hand all night long.
I was going to bring that up too. So Conway, you have a fun game that you guys play anytime you get together and drink or virtually.
Define fun.
Well, Jason, is it fun?
I'm doing it right now. I got buffaloed.
So I'm leery to say it over the video.
Okay.
Technically, once you hear the rules, you're part of it. So you'll have to just take a list of who's on this. Everybody that's on it stuff.
I don't want on this.
Ian, no, don't have him say it out loud. It's like fucking Jumanji. Like once
yes. No,
It's like a Fight Club.
Okay, end the stream. No.
yeah, like it does not quit. So
Oh no. So I will say this, just it literally does not ever end, and there are no timeouts. Like none. And so I've been at a restaurant where someone, they buy some god awful expensive, $400 bottle of wine, and you got this goblet of wine, and you drink it with the right hand, and someone goes, "Oh, what's that animal with the big fur and it's got horns?" And you're like, "Fuck!" And you literally have to slam it and then get the next one. And so if you're drinking with your non-dominant hand, and one of the other people who's also drinking at that time, who's part of this group, they can call you buffalo, and you have to slam what you've got and get another version of the same thing. Which, when someone's bought a $400 bottle of wine, is a little bit painful that you just slammed a goblet of it and then have to buy another one for everyone else to drink.
Wow.
But
or if you're Jason, you
just nonstop.
and then you shoot it also with your right hand. So then you have to have the third drink, which also is in your right hand. At which point I'm like, we're not gonna
3 times in a row. And it pissed me off. I kept my right hand in my pocket the entire night to make sure it didn't happen. And I was doing so well, and we sat down on the couch to watch Letterkenny.
Yeah.
And I was on the right side of the couch. So I can't remember who was next to me, but I was, the right hand was available on the side of the couch. And at the end of the night, I just grabbed the drink. And then the rest was his.
It's a brutal thing. Like you'll go up to the restroom and someone will move your drink over to the right-hand side so that you naturally pick it up. It is gamesmanship all the time. I used to be a corporate guy. When I was at a big corporate function, we got a big event, and there's probably 2,000 people in this reception. And I'm standing with my boss's boss, just drinking a beer, and I hear "Buffalo" like from across the freaking room, and I'm like, "You got to be kidding me!" So I literally had to just, excuse me, slam my beer and go get another beer and come back to continue my conversation with my boss's boss.
So it's not just holding it; you have to actually drink out of it with your own hand.
You have to drink out of it. You got to drink out of it. Oh, and the other piece on that, you better know what hand they are, because if you call it wrong, you're slamming yours.
Yeah.
So there's always fun to have at least one lefty in the group, because it really gets your mind fucked up every night. Like, oh, is he the left-handed one or not?
See, I think like a group like this, like us now, like where we're not together all the time, would be a good group to do that with. But if it's like your everyday drinking buddies, that'd be brutal,
You have to be all the time.
Yeah, you can't live your life like that.
No, seriously, like I literally, when I'm by myself, I make sure that my drink is on my left-hand side, just because when I happen to see my friends twice a year, you don't want to get caught. You have to build a muscle memory. I only drink with my left hand.
Wow. Jason's in Kansas. I'm going to take you to my tattoo artist. We're going to tattoo a big X on his right.
Oh, absolutely.
And to give you a sense, this has been going on now for 25 years. We've been playing this game. 25 years.
Yeah, I'd have to put a glove on or something. Yeah, I would have to
duct tape your hand to your leg.
I'd be a fat guy in July wearing a flannel and a mitten, just so I.
Yeah.
See, the good news, Jason had his hand down there playing with himself the whole time. He explained it was to keep his hand free.
The entire time. And you know how hard it is to.
Oh boy, do you ever?
Yeah, that was.
Oh, and the worst part about that, worse than the best, I should say, thanks to Casey, I was just happened to be drinking a barrel pick that Casey sent to us.
Yeah.
And it was 120 something proof.
So
I had 6 ounces of 120 proof 4 roses in 3 shots, and I was feeling it.
That's great.
We did it with a buddy of mine for his 30th birthday. We got him a bottle of wild turkey, and much like you, he just kept slamming with this hand, with the wrong hand, and just one after another of this wild turkey. And this girl, like, she's watching, you guys are gonna kill him, you're gonna kill him. So my wife started doing his shots for him. That wasn't pretty either. She rode that porcelain bus all night long.
Oh no.
I
could go good or bad depending on
it started off like it was going to be a good night, but it did not finish that way.
Yeah.
The one time that I had ever seen Conway cross was mad at me. Angry. We were High West, and we were having brunch at High West.
Conway's like the Hulk, where when you're like, "What's your secret?"
Just all the time. I don't think I've ever seen him not irritated a little bit.
No, he was, because Corey buffaloed, and I didn't call him on it. And he went to the restroom, and I just happened to mention Conway that I let Corey off the hook, and he looked at me and says, "Don't you ever do that? That's fucking bullshit."
Yeah, it was fucking bullshit.
That's fucking bullshit. You call him every time.
And I was working really hard to not drink with the right hand. And when I got back, Jason was like, "I should have called you on that." He was like, "Conway's really mad." I was like, "Oh, well, I both glad, but I would have absolutely followed the rules of the game. We would have cashed in a drink and ordered another drink."
We were at my buddy's 50th birthday, so it's 4 couples. We're at this beach house in Oregon, and he's in a pissy mood the whole time, and he gets buffaloed, and he's been part of this for 25 years, and he doesn't do it.
Oh,
we were so fucking pissed off. We still barely have a relationship with him 4 years later because he didn't buffalo.
Oh yeah.
Listen,
Corey, shoot it now.
Bro code.
It's almost like, what was that movie? That movie Tag, where they had the continuous game of tag. It's kind of
Yeah,
like
we're that stupid. Yeah, we are that stupid.
I just watched one called Buddy Games that was similar to that on Netflix or something.
Listen,
I think for your just a tip, Conway, you should explain the game and make
Oh,
everyone who's watching,
make everyone go.
Yeah.
make
Everybody tune out now.
As far as I'm concerned, everyone's heard it. So anyone that's on this feed is now part of that.
Yeah, hey, take a screenshot, Ian, so we can get some visual proof.
Now, I will say this though: the ladies, I'm not being sexist. The ladies, literally, it's like, "Fuck you, I'm not doing it." Like they,
Matt,
they do not care.
Yeah, I believe
Matt
that.
won't do it. She looked at the edge and said, "Fuck that, I'm not doing this."
Oh no, she was very clear she was not doing it. I don't have testosterone that I need to worry about. You know.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's kind of. I mean, if you've got a good enough group of friends to do anything for 25 years, like that's a win at life, right?
Yeah.
Like it doesn't matter if it's a silly drinking game. Like that's where we all want to be, where you're having stories forever. So that's.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the same 5 stories, but it's stories forever.
Listen, that story gets better every year.
Oh.
man.
Yeah, it does.
I like it when we introduce a new person to our friend group because everybody's got to tell their story. Like I hear the same stories every 2 years because somebody new came into the circle. You know, it's like here we go.
That's the best part, absolutely.
Yeah.
But as a guy, I still enjoy all those stories from my buddies. Like it's reliving it. The wives don't seem to enjoy it as much as we do.
No.
No,
Matt
I
says
mean, if
she
my
loves
wife has
her
to hear
liver.
about my senior season of football one more time.
Yeah. Yeah. So we
So
we
what
started-
happened that season, Troy? I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
one game
He's
for
like El
bad
Bundy.
man.
He scored 7 touchdowns. And...
Nah.
we started lying about our friends when we were in Taneycomo fishing a couple years ago. So there was a group we caught a lot of fish. So that year, so they stocked that lake, right? So they had backed the truck to stock with rainbow trout, and they had dumped it off of one of the boat docks, and we were there like minutes.
with nets.
No, it didn't need
Lies
nets.
in, boys.
You can reel the fuckers in fast enough. Like it was like limit, put them in the bag, send a boat off, come back, limit, back like it was back. So we got back to the dock, and we had so many fish. So some people were asking about that, and then of course it was like, well, my friend Steve, he's a 5-time Missouri State trout champion. He's a surgeon. He's a heart surgeon. Like none of this is true. He's a heart surgeon. And then they were like, oh, this is my friend Chris Hoopy. He was a 2-time All-American at USC as a lineman and had to retire because of his knee, but he still comes here to fish, and he guides in Alaska sometimes fishing. Like it just got out of hand. So I think now when I'm almost a little concerned that we're going to have like the world's longest plaques when our dudes eventually go, and we're going to have to go post those up at Taneycomo. That's like the longest epitaph ever, and I think we'll just bolt them to the dock, and it'll be fantastic. So
Start a Wikipedia page for each one.
Yeah.
That's when you know you have a true friend, when you could just start a lie and they pick it up right.
Yeah, exactly.
Drop a lie, you pick it up and run with it.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with former Top Gun test pilot next year. I think that's where I'm leaning right now. So.
Nice.
Troy,
I go with boy band. You were the bad boy in the bad boy band.
Yeah, I was a tour manager for Godsmack. I bet you people would.
Oh, I believe.
I just believe that.
I had a gal that worked for me when I was a sales manager. A really, really sweet young lady, very, very religious. And she had just gotten her new company car. We were heading back to to where she lived. It was a long drive, and there's no coverage for music anywhere. She's like, oh, I did some. And I said, oh, I've got a few CDs. Do you want one? She's like, oh, do you mind? So I handed her the CDs, and like the third one down is Godsmack, and it's like someone punched her in the face, and she goes flying back. So it's like, oh.
Oh dear.
Yeah. Oh dear was about as aggressive as she got. There was no fuck. What's that?
Huh? So she's been on tour with him for the last 3 years.
Yeah. I want to hear about Troy's. He was bragging so much about how much he loves music and how many concerts he goes to. I want to hear about Troy's concerts.
Yeah.
Oh God. Yeah. I'm going to embarrass myself here. I've not been to many concerts, so. You asked for 3, right? First, favorite, and
let's break this down a bit. So,
all right,
the first concert you've ever been to, is that it?
first concert, best concert, and dream concert.
And dream concert that you want to go to.
Okay. Now don't make fun of me until I get done talking. I've only been to 3 concerts in my life. Okay. I went to a Jimmy Buffett concert.
That's not bad.
That was my first, Jimmy. My second concert was also Jimmy Buffett.
If you see your third one's Jimmy, I'm gonna punch you.
No, the third one was like some country artist at a local fair here a couple years ago. But so Jimmy was my first.
Disney, by the way, that's also fucking Jimmy Buffett. It's the same.
I don't have a favorite, but my dream concert, which is still probably nerdy, because I'm kind of a country guy, but I would love to see Chris Stapleton.
That's not nerdy.
About that.
But you guys are all into the heavy stuff.
You want to see a Jimmy Buffett cover band.
Troy, I've seen Chris Stapleton. Let's find a location somewhere in the Midwest.
Exactly.
I will go and I will meet you there, and we will go to see Chris.
Yeah, I need somebody to teach me how to concert because I don't know what I'm doing.
He is.
We got 3 of us now because I'll go too.
You got to make an impression, Troy.
I'm in.
Oh, that's a bit of a story. I don't know.
Do it.
No, let's go.
Do
You
it.
sure?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Drink, hit a shot, and then do it.
Okay, this wasn't a concert, but it was a football game. We used to go to Ohio State football games and not actually go into the game. We would just go and tailgate all day, get shit-faced, and then we would watch the game on like a Jumbotron.
Yeah.
And there was a band and stuff. And during the band, girls would start flashing and stuff. So I'm drunk. I had a bottle of Wild Turkey like down my pants. So I'm drinking this Wild Turkey all day. And this girl, I can't remember what she said, but I said something about, I can't believe I'm telling this story. She says something about, let's see what you got. And she says, well, I'll show you mine if you show me yours. So I did. So I'm standing in a parking lot of some convenience store in Columbus with a band surrounded by 2,000 of my closest friends with a captain out.
Oh, the cap?
Yeah.
El Capitan.
Yeah.
Oh,
that wasn't one of my prouder moments. That was a long time ago. That was like
Wow.
3 years ago.
So you switched from Wild Turkey and you introduced her to Colonel Taylor.
Yeah, that was back before I knew I was a bourbon drinker. That was just what I was drinking that day. But yeah, I made a lot of bad decisions.
Jimmy Buffett.
Yeah.
I don't even know if that was the story I started to tell, but that was a bad story. I'm not proud of that
was
one.
Perfect. I honestly thought you were going to just flash your boobs and the story.
That's what I thought.
No one wants to see those. But if
she's pissed off because he's like 3 cup sizes bigger.
Yeah, if you guys ever meet Patty, I didn't do that for real.
And your nipples are prettier.
Good story though. Made it up. Total fabrication.
Yeah.
First concert was the Kansas State Fair. I'm pretty sure it was 38 Special and Styx was with the opening band sometime in the 80s. Jack Blades in all his glory, still rocking America all day, all night. The best concert probably that I ever seen. Geez, I don't know. Like I could list several Metallica shows. I saw Lollapalooza. I think it was in '96, which was Metallica, Soundgarden, and Rage Against the Machine, and that's pretty high on the list. That was the last Soundgarden tour.
You're lying. You told me it was the Lilith Fair.
Yeah, I've also went to that. That was a different day, different outfit. And then I saw U2 at Madison Square Garden.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Wow.
That's pretty high. So that was a surprise for the wife. So we were going to go see U2. We went to the Joshua Tree tour at Arrowhead, and then they were going to do a second round of touring, not with the Joshua Tree, but they put all the cities on sale at once, and they were going to be in Tulsa and they were going to be in Dallas. And I was like, well, we'll get tickets to one of their shows because they're all in Kansas City. But since they're all on sale at the same time and there's travel involved, I was like, why am I not buying tickets to the most famous venue on the planet?
Yeah.
I bought Madison Square Garden tickets and we went to go see U2 at Madison Square Garden, and that was crazy good.
That's what I love about you. You just like, oh, fuck it. We're just going to do it.
You guys are so cool.
Just buy some plane tickets.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was cool. I don't know, man. I've seen so many crazy concerts and shows. I saw Pantera and Typo Negative play. If you want to see crazy stuff, I've seen, every version of Slayer you can think of and Ozzy Osbourne. But then I've also gone to see Garth Brooks and Chris Stapleton and Eric Church, and like it just doesn't matter if it's good music, I'm in. So Yeah, I'm not sure what the the ultimate show I want. Actually, I do know the show I want to see, and I still haven't. And even though he's now super old, I would love to see Paul McCartney live.
Oh yeah,
that would be super cool. So, yeah, I wish I probably would have seen Paul McCartney like 10 years ago, but I would still go see Paul McCartney.
well, that's pretty good. That's gonna be hard to follow.
Yeah, I was gonna. My first show was probably like DC Talk or something back when I was a kid that I got taken to. Yeah, one of those things at Wonderland or something. Not super memorable, but one of those Christian bands because we grew up that way. My favorite concert that I was at was a Brad Paisley, Darius Rucker, and Eric Church concert at a small venue in Toronto, a smaller venue. When Eric Church wasn't really well known, Darius Rucker was just jumping into country, and Brad Paisley played She's Everything, and he does this solo on a Strat. And I try and play guitar. I like the sounds, and the way he played that Strat, it was beautiful. Just solo. And Brad Paisley's an awesome guitar player, so that kind of hit me. That was my favorite one. And then Eric Church played a bunch of like heavier stuff that he got into because it was back when he was just starting, and it was good. And Darius Rucker just blew me away. He wore a Run DMC shirt and just came out with a guitar and just slayed it. It was a great show. I was there with my wife when we just got married, so it was fun.
Eric Church, touring guitar player, driver, used to play in rock bands.
Yeah,
and you can tell.
Yeah,
like that dude can flat.
Yeah,
a guitar. So that's that whole sound when Eric Church is live. It's pretty heavy.
It's heavy. It was good. Yeah, I loved it.
That's why I got Eric Church.
And my ultimate would be, Troy kind of took that with Stapleton, mainly because of that country guitar vibe, but maybe Shaky Graves. Have you ever heard of those guys? Shaky Graves. It's like a folky rock kind of thing. It's worth a check out. The guy plays like a guitar with a suitcase drum, and just a really cool vibe. So something like that might be a fun thing to check out.
Cool.
Yeah.
I guess it's me. So I want to preface this by, technically it was my first concert, but I don't want to claim it.
Oh,
it's kind of funny.
This is going to get fancy at some point.
No, it was a Boy Scout outing of all things, and we went to the BYU Marriott Center to see Bill Cosby.
Oh boy, here we go.
I'm not sure if that counts.
We went there, and I don't remember anything else.
There's a lot of pudding.
So I don't really claim that. So the first concert I claimed when I was in the Army in Alabama, we went and saw Kiss and Winger.
Oh yeah,
Winger.
It was good until Winger. So was it in makeup Kiss, or would have that been like no makeup Kiss?
It was the no. It's when they went right. It was the tour, the Destroyer tour, where they went back in makeup.
Okay,
Or
so
no. It was 90, 91. They were back in makeup. It's when they, after the Heavens on Fire thing, and then they said, yeah. So, no, it was 89.
No, later than that. If they put makeup back on, you're good. You're right. You'd have been like Desert Storm era.
Yeah. So anyway, and then best concert was actually the best concert qualifies for my dream concert, and I never thought I would say that because I wasn't a huge fan. But a couple of years ago, Nat got VIP tickets to Elton John.
Oh, that'd be all right.
Up in the front row. I mean, it was great. We had the whole fancy VIP treatment, Troy.
I told you this was going to get fancy.
Yeah.
We had dinner and a photo op. We sat with his tour manager and talked. He came out and said hi, but he's only there for a quick second. Then we went out and we watched the production team put it together. We went up and had photo ops on one of his 9 pianos.
Yeah.
On one of you got on it?
Oh yeah. Well, not on the chair.
He's got the photo shoot with Jason Lyon on the piano.
Shirt undone to his navel.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, but then we were like third row back, and it was his first trip back. He had a respite, and he had no It was all him for 2.5 hours.
That's the best, man. Like, listen, I'm old enough now that, like, unless the opening act is a shit kicking act that I really want to see, I really don't give a shit. I'd rather just see 2 hours, 2.5 hours of the band I'm there to see, and I'd pay extra for it. Like,
Yeah.
and I used to be the local opening band. Like, that's a horrible thing to say. I just don't anymore. A couple of my buddies, Jason, got to open for Kiss in Kansas City.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they won like a contest and with the local radio station. It sounds very like 1975, but this actually wasn't super long ago. So we got to sneak in a little bit early, and while Kiss was doing all their rehearsal stuff, which they do in the boots, but with no makeup and whatever on, so that they're still wearing all the stuff, so they can measure the spotlights and all the stuff. And they were like super, super crazy about no cameras, no phones, no nothing. But they're backstage, and one of the guys was like, "Hey, can I have one of these red Gatorades?" And they had to get a guy on the walkie-talkie, and he was like, "We need to know. We've had a request from one of the openers if they can have one of Mr. Simmons' green or red Gatorades." So they had like clearance for red Gatorade from backstage. But when he's got all geared up, they took pictures with the band and whatever else. And one of my buddies, on his way out, stole Gene Simmons' hairbrush off of his station in the back by his bass guitar. Which
Perfect.
Pretty bold. He was like, "Well, if I'm getting kicked out, it's really late, so it's actually fine."
Yeah.
Weird rocks.
Sweet. So Conway, what about you?
Did we get the Dream concert?
Oh yeah, Jason.
Oh, like I said, I wrapped it up. I honestly don't think I can get better than that Elton John concert.
Okay. All right. Yeah. All right. Well, you guys are going to be jealous about this, and kind of following the path of Ian here. My first concert was Amy Grant back when she was doing Christian rock.
Yeah.
If anyone has never been to a Christian rock concert, it is a little different. It starts off with some guy ministering to you, then a prayer for the whole room. The lead act gets up, does their piece for whatever they do, 45 minutes. Lights go down, spotlight comes on. She sits on the front of the stage and testifies about her walk with Christ, both figuratively and apparently literally as well. So that was my first concert. Favorite concert, there are a couple of them that I could throw in there because I went with my sons and that sort of thing. That would be great, but I'm going to pick a different one. So it was I went and saw Metallica Death Magnetic a couple of times during that tour. And, bare bones, they had coffins with lights and lasers in them and none of the other bullshit stuff. It was just them playing, and they played long sets. So that was one of my favorites. That one was in Ohio, actually. It was in Troy's area. So it was in Columbus.
Yeah, Ohio makes everything better.
Yeah, I'll tell you a story, and this is one that'll probably get me canceled, but I'm going to tell it anyway. So it was myself. It was one of the managers that worked for me. It was my little brother, and our ad agency was there. So, they're whining and dining, and, everything's being paid for by these guys. He's buying shots, doing all crazy stuff. So we're all in pretty good shape by the time we get to the concert, continue to drink through the concert. We're leaving the place, and my little brother is not to be found. And I'm like, what the fuck is he? Like, are you kidding me? And so we're out standing around, and I'm like, screw it. So I start walking back to the arena to try and find him. And I don't find him. So I come back, and I'm standing on some piece of concrete, and I'm talking to the guys like, I don't know where the fuck he is. Like, I cannot believe he's not showing up. I look around. They're not there either. So now I'm by myself. I don't know if they found him or not found him, but they're not with me anymore. So I'm like, screw it. So I'll just walk back. So we had a hotel that was kind of near the facility. So I figured I'll just walk back there and start walking with the crowds. And I walk a long time, like 20 minutes, long time. And all of a sudden I'm looking around going, I'm by myself. Like, there's nobody around me. I'm by what looks like the projects, and there's a river, but the river's on the wrong side of me. It's supposed to be on the left, and it's on the right. And I look over, and I can see the campus, and I'm like, son of a bitch, I'm on the wrong side of the river. And so I decided I have to go back. So it's 20 minutes back to where I started, and I start walking back. By the time I kind of come around the corner and get close to the arena, the police cars, half of them are gone. They're wrapping up for the night. They're chatting with each other. And I'm pretty drunk, and I'm getting a little bit concerned about, getting in trouble for being out drunk in the environment. And I trip over something and start stumbling. And in my great thought process at that moment, I decided the best way to pretend that I'm okay is to pretend that I have a disability. And so I decided to pretend that I had muscular dystrophy. and had my hands up and my leg dragging, and I walked for almost a mile past all the police cars dragging a leg. It was like something out of The Usual Suspects as I cruised by these guys.
You
Get
kind
past them. Yeah, exactly. So, and there's a bar we'd stopped at. So I go into the bar, and all of them are there like, oh, what happened to you? You know, that kind of thing. Of course, I was so proud of the story. I start telling people the story about me doing this. Like, no embarrassment whatsoever. Just absolutely pride. People are buying me drinks. Like, I literally have people from the bar that are just coming up, oh, you're the guy that did that, you know, and buying drinks. So that was probably my favorite concert.
That's great.
Good Lord.
Yeah, it was really stupid. I was thinking I could tell you about the time I got thrown at a Darius record with my wife, but I decided I'll save that one for another time.
Ooh, yes.
Yeah, I got a police escort for that one. The dream concert would be, back in the day, it would be Stevie Wonder, when Stevie Wonder was Stevie Wonder, not the one that they drag out for every event now, when they want to, just way back when he could really play, really sing. I'd love to see him in his prime.
That's huge. Yeah. Stevie Wonder.
I forgot about the loophole about
going backwards. Yeah.
Anytime. So if I could go back anywhere and see a concert, it would absolutely be Stevie Ray Vaughan.
I was going to say that too. Yeah.
Good choice.
Stevie Ray Vaughan in any venue would be my.
Maybe Clapton. Maybe Clapton. Yeah.
Like, so this is not my just the tip, but there's actually a pretty good documentary on Netflix about Stevie Ray Vaughan. A lot of stuff I didn't know about him.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll have to check it out.
Like not the sensational stuff of the drugs and all that stuff. Like it was just like his roots and the struggles he had to, you know, and the different bands he played with, and this Austin scene, and how he kind of, you know, through effort made it to where he was. It was pretty interesting.
There's a video online where, like, Stevie Ray Vaughan was the total different level. So he breaks a string during a song. Have you seen this? And like he changes guitars during the song with his road tech. He's like pulling one guitar on top of the other and like doesn't miss. Like it's just a whole different level of dude. It's an entire.
Have you seen the video where Chet Atkins is playing two different songs on the same guitar at the same time?
No.
Well, it's like Chet Atkins is just, I mean.
Oh yeah.
He's just incredible. It's funny that I didn't realize how many groups he produced. Like he is probably the most successful producer, certainly of that era. Yeah. And I only knew him as a guitar player.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. Well, since you said just the tips.
Hey-o.
I think it's time for just the tips. Just as Troy leaves. So he's like, wait, it's going to be just the tips. I don't have anything written down in my notebook. I think I'm going to have to take off. Well, does anybody have a just the tip for this evening?
I do. So first of all, my just the tip is an apology for last week's just the tip. So listen, I was very excited because last Wednesday was the preview, and last Friday, Ashley McBride, who I love, was putting out a new record. And I was like, hey, her new record's coming out. She's like the female Eric Church. She's whiskey and tattoos and trouble and like the whole bit, right? So the new record came out on Friday, and I listened to it Friday morning, and it sucks. Like it's not. So, I like to apologize to anyone who listened to it because of my recommendation. I was excited about it before I listened to it. It's not good. It's a concept record where they want to talk about a small town, which seems like a good idea. Execution's brutal. So I think they wanted to do kind of like a Sturgill Simpson kind of concept kind of thing, and it's not good. So this week's just the tip. Don't listen to the new Ashley McBride records. I mean, time.
We're kind of full of shit on most of these things, really, if truth be told.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm not.
Yeah.
So I'm kidding.
I will tell you tonight's tip because Conway said it. If you have a chance to go to a Bitchin' Live concert, like go. Just go. I passed on a couple concerts a few years ago. Like I passed on Tom Petty, like a couple months before Tom Petty passed away, which was crazy. Chris Cornell played in Kansas City like the week before. Like his untimely, like you don't get those spots back. All good life stories talking about going to a concert with your friends and your buddy. Find friends go to shows. Just find it, go. It's always amazing. Tailgate in the parking lot, do the whole thing, party before and afterwards, and make it a thing. But just go to the show.
I like that.
Amen.
Conway, what do you got for the tips?
So, two things, just one broad and one instructional. So, broad one, I like documentaries, and so Netflix, man, just look up the different documentaries. You can find something on almost anything in there. I've been doing a bunch of the music ones. Just there's so many interesting things, and a lot of the guys are small documentary guys. I guess probably all documentary guys are small, but they do a lot of things where they really get into understanding the human characters rather than just what that one piece of kind of news that everybody knew about. So if you like that kind of thing, you like to really understand what inspires people and motivates them, and quite frankly, the struggle for greatness, because very few people get greatness without enormous struggle. It's really kind of fun to see, and see people that are knocked down, get back up, knocked down again, and get up, and you think, oh, these guys are just so, successful, and they've just fought through so many odds. So Netflix, a lot of great documentaries. The other, just the tip, and I think Troy will appreciate this. I cannot watch series of shows. Like, I just don't have it. I can't stand the idea of having to be stuck to a show for 6 episodes, let alone 6 seasons. So I have a strategy. And so I did this with Peaky Blinders, because Troy talked about watching Peaky Blinders. So I watched the first 2 episodes in their entirety. And then for the rest of the first season, I watched the first 5 minutes and the last 5 minutes.
Ooh.
And then once I get to the next season, season 2, 3, 4, 5, I watch every other episode, the first 2 minutes and the last 5 minutes. And then when I get to the very final episode, I watch the first 10 minutes and the last 10 minutes of it. That's how I watch these series, so that I can binge them in basically a day, and I don't have to watch the whole thing, because I cannot stand to watch.
What a wild game.
But
That makes
wait,
my
hold up.
stomach hurt.
Hold up. In the first 5 minutes, you get the recap of the last show.
I skip that. You can do the little skip. It says skip.
Okay,
skip.
You even skip that. So you
Oh,
have
yeah.
no idea what's going on in Peaky Blinders.
No, I do have
I'm kidding.
a very good idea what's going on with it.
With all the fluff in between.
It's Cliff
So
Notes, baby.
Cliff
Have you
Notes, I
watched
love it.
everything then, or where are you?
Oh yeah, I've watched them all now. Well, I've watched them all. I've watched the whole series.
You watch portions of every one of them.
I've done that with literally every series that I've ever watched. I've done that with. My wife is constantly telling me you should watch this, and I'm like, I don't have the attention span for that. So this is what I've adopted, so that I can have conversations with my wife.
Any series that's longer than 3 seasons now, it's weird that I just don't have the patience for it.
3 episodes is more than I can do, seriously.
Yeah, on one hand, I'm glad you're getting to watch it, but on the other hand, I'm kind of annoyed that I feel like you cheat coded it and it doesn't count.
I've done that mostly. I've done that for years, but with any DIY show or any kind of competition, like Ink Master, I watch the introduction and I skip all the drama and I go to the judging, and that's how.
Well, you have to, because every time they go to a commercial break, they recap everything when they come back. Like, there's literally only 6 minutes of content anyway.
Like any restoration show. First,
You're good for
10, last 10.
all of those reality shows like that, Jason. Same thing, like The Voice or any of that. Watch the first 5 episodes when people are trying to get in on the show, and then watch the finale. You don't need to watch all the other shit in the middle. You just don't.
Nice.
Well done.
Great, just the tips.
You should watch the entirety of the Flannel Panel, every episode, all the time. And you should
Good shit in there. Down deep.
don't skip to just the tips at the end. You got to watch.
Oh yeah, if you just watch your first 10 minutes, you're gonna miss it all.
So, in all fairness, I really do actually. I look forward to these on Wednesdays, and I do actually just sit down and enjoy it. It's fun to see just some buddies hanging out, chatting, and I enjoy it. I think it's a cool premise. So I think it's fun. Now I realize though, one part of the reason you do it though is that you could just do a Zoom, but you don't do a Zoom because there's some people that you just really don't want to fucking hear what they have to say. So by doing it this way, you can control that. So I get it. I like it. I like that sort of idea that you don't like most people. So I'm all in.
Yeah.
I would never say that live on air, but yeah, I guess.
No, it's accurate. Well, I'd come on and hang out with y'all, but I don't want to be live on YouTube. And you're like, well,
Yes.
sorry.
I get it. I think it's brilliant. I love it. It's evil, but I love it.
Because that's what we are. More evil.
Well, mostly Ian. Ian, the whole
Yeah, mostly Ian.
fake Canadian business. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's always
Don't
the
worry
smiling
about
one. You always watch out for the one that smiles.
All right, Jason, just the tips.
I do actually. So we all know I drive back and forth to work, so I listen to a lot of podcasts and Audible. And I think you inspired me to go back and browse
How do
Audible.
you think the rest of us get to work?
Well, I mean,
I drive back and forth to work. Who doesn't do that?
that's true. My bad.
How long of a drive do you guys have?
45,
45?
45 and an hour and a half, depending on traffic.
Well, yeah, that's long.
Same
I've
with
got
me.
12 minutes.
Yeah, let me tell you, brother. There's no traffic at fucking 5 a.m, so I'm real good on the way into work. So
Yeah,
It don't matter what time you go to work in T County. There's no traffic.
hopefully that.
But I found I downloaded the new Kevin Hart Audible. I think it's Audible only book. And it's called Monsters and How to Tame Them. And first of all, I'll only listen to Audible books that are read by Nick Offerman, Kevin Hart, or Neil Gaiman.
I love the Nick
Small
Offerman
genre.
part.
But it's actually pretty good. I started listening to it just because, he makes anything entertaining. And it's actually quite funny. I thought it was just going to be base level. But he actually takes some really interesting psychological concepts and brings them down to his level, I guess you could say. Or, more digestible. They're funny. They're just freaking funny. But when it's one of those that you start laughing and realize you learned something.
Yeah.
But it's all about the monsters he's talking about are the ones that we invent in our heads to prevent us from getting places where we need to go. And he goes through 7 classes of the monsters and all that fun stuff. But it's actually quite entertaining.
Cool.
That's a funny dude, but you want to talk about a guy that's like, you figured out success if you're a comedian and you can sell at a football stadium, right? Like that's so that's a wild level of success. So that's
It's very funny.
Yeah, hell yeah,
That dude hustles.
hell yeah, it is.
Okay, Troy, don't fuck it up. Do something good.
All right, this is my worst. This is my worst, just the tip ever. But I went to the liquor store yesterday. A friend of mine here owns a small liquor store, very small. But every now and then he'll get Blanton's or something. And hey, I've got Blanton's. If you want one, I'll hold you a bottle. So yesterday he had E.H. Taylor small batch, which isn't a big deal. But so I went to pick up my E.H. Taylor, but I bought a bottle of Russell's Reserve while I was there. The not a pick or anything, but just the single barrel.
Okay.
So my tip is just Wild Turkey in general, because I'm just telling you, for the money, you can't beat the whole darn line. You got anything from 101 to Rare Breed to Russell's Reserve, and don't even get me started on the Rise. But I'm just, for the money, you can't beat the whiskey, in my opinion. So drink some more Wild Turkey, people.
God damn it, hell yeah, and get Wild Turkey,
motherfucker.
Yeah, hell yeah.
How do you feel about tequila, Troy?
Tequila sucks.
All right, I'm gonna jump in on the Audible train like Jason did. And Jason, if you haven't bought the Jack Carr books, The Terminalist, and all those, you should listen to those. But the book would probably be better than the Audible book because the guys speaking are kind of rough to listen to. But it's called Extreme Ownership, and it's 2 SEALs. Jocko Willink, you may have heard that name, and another guy, Leif Babin or something like that. But it's all about leadership, and they take their SEAL training and whatnot and then put it into like workplace or lifestyle, that kind of stuff. And it's been listening to that lately. It's been really good, super positive, and just taking ownership on who you are and what you do and making yourself better through it. So I'd really recommend it. It's a super solid book, or if you're in that mindset at all, it's going to be good. So
Awesome.
That's all I got. So just the tips are over.
That was all the tips.
That was all.
That's all the tips.
I do want to do a real quick goodbye thank you to the average drinker. So it was actually kind of a funny story because I had tickets to the High West Midwinter Nights Dram release. Gosh, say that fun type fast. And the friends I was going with, she actually ended up with COVID, her and her family. So I had 2 extra tickets, and she was in town because I bought a Glencairn from her, and she sent us a message about doing lunch so she could give me the Glencairn. And I said, well, I have these 2 tickets left over. Do you want to go to the event? So we actually picked up Dara and Bill and drove up to the event and had an amazing time. And she is just a great, genuine person.
Continuing his streak of being like the coolest, kindest motherfucker on the planet. Please. Hey,
it was a lot of fun.
I think we should talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. And it was very cool. I mean, the event itself, it keeps growing, and it's called Woodland Masquerade, and you show up and everybody's dressed in satyr costumes and fawns, and they had these walking trees. I have it put it on our Facebook page.
Very cool.
Instagram.
Sounds like some other kind of party.
Yeah.
Very fancy.
That would have been.
It was called
crazy.
Ice.
They had people on stilts dressed up like aspen trees, and they were 10. I think I sent a picture on our page.
I think they were dick first.
That's the party I was thinking of.
But you got 4. There was 4 free pours. You got a drink card.
Oh my gosh, 4.
Yeah, well, they were Midwinter Night, the 2 new releases, the Encore, the Midwinter's Act 10, but also they had the Act 2 and Act 4, which are going way back.
So those older ones weren't all their stuff either, right? They were the
open,
MGP or where were they from?
And 4 was pretty much my favorite of all time.
That's cool.
Wow.
But you had to go. They had little booths like throughout the property, and you just showed up to get a drink, and they give you a free pour. So you had to go actually find the 4 pours.
You had to run around and shit.
Oh yeah, and if you've ever if you've ever been up there, it's just a beautiful, gorgeous place. And so they had it all lit up, and they had all the hiking trails. There was places where you could find free booze in the hiking trail and stuff.
Troy, you love it. There's like no oxygen, and it's like goat trails that you have to walk around on. It's wonderful.
How far from your house, Jason?
It's about a 35-minute drive, 40-minute drive.
So like if Patty and I make it to your house, you'll
absolutely
go there.
West, hell yeah.
Oh, Sunday brunch is a staple. If you come to my place, we go to Sunday brunch at High West.
Okay, I just have to figure out the oxygen thing. I need to breathe.
Just bring a tank. Just bring a little roller behind you.
I'll go see my grandma get her tank.
O2, those portable O2s that you got for the COVID invasion, and then I'll just hook it up to a CPAP, and you can wear it all the way in.
Yeah, suck it in, Grandma. You don't need it. I'm going to Utah.
We need this level of Troy at the beginning of the show.
Oh yeah.
Do you understand? For me to be funny at the beginning, I got to start drinking at 4:30.
4:35. Yeah, it's Whiskey Wednesday. We try to put this intentionally to get you.
It's Whiskey Wednesday.
I got to get my Wednesday back going.
Now, there's a lot of old people on this stream. I'm just wondering, has anyone ever thought about using your
define old?
Whoa. Yeah.
I think
proceed.
I may be the oldest person on here.
No, I've got you by like 6 months.
Nice, you old fucker.
Yeah, I'm even older than Clint.
I think I'm the youngest.
No, Clint's older than everybody.
Yeah.
Older than
Spiritually,
69ers, and I'm a 70.
69er.
So hold up. You had a good thing going there, Jason. Have you ever used your CPAP for what?
For a beer bong.
No. Maybe right up my nose. What the fuck?
All right. So, I've had enough to drink that I'm going to be truly juvenile. I have always wanted. I've got a buddy that when we go on trips, he's got his CPAP. I've always wanted to go and just fart right at the air inlet and see if it just sucks right into his face.
So
I don't know if it was good, but I just wanted to try so many times.
We tried that last year at Taneycomo because we're all old balls now, so everyone's got a goddamn CPAP machine to the point we have to pack distilled water with all like the 30 packs of beer that go and all they have like 5 bottles of distilled water. So 100% Monty and Lance, the Blancos, passed out early, and yes, Yes, we did go try to fart directly into the just to see what happened, because even though we're in our 40s/early 50s, we're still just 14 years old.
They wake up
Doesn't
with
mean
weird
we're not
taste in their
assholes.
And I don't know what it smelled like because they did not wake up, but we giggled little girls when we woke up and walked back out on the porch and continued to smoke cigars. And it was a
I'll have to
glorious.
try that. Nat, go to bed.
She's gonna do it to you tonight.
Yeah.
Don't tell
Jason.
Nat to go to bed. She's our only viewer.
Oh, Jason's in a world of hurt tonight.
Yes, I am.
I would 100% recommend trying to fart into someone's CPAP machine. That's just funny.
Well, not if you're wearing the mask. It ain't funny.
I don't know. It's kind of funny. It's still kind of funny.
I agree with Ian. You got to get Troy just wrapped up about 45 minutes earlier because he's just ridiculously
Get the
funny.
CPAP.
Conway, did you see the show a couple weeks ago, like a month ago, when it was just
I've seen
Ian
every
and
show. I've seen every show.
Okay,
Hell, I
it's just the
super
two of
chatted
us,
you
and I
on that
was
one.
way too drunk when I got on.
I gave you like a $500 super chat on that one.
Yeah.
That one was fun.
Hey, listen, if you can make it past the first 40 minutes, the show gets
That's exactly what it was.
Hey, everybody
pretty
just
much
got to
the-
watch like Conway. Just skip the last 20 minutes.
we put all our good content at the end.
That might just be the real just a tip. Just wait
Yeah.
before you listen.
I feel like we've offended Natalie twice. She told me to bite her, and she's
Well,
told
this
you to
is
F
all
you.
the.
So
This is all
I'd
I'd
the
like to
Jason.
apologize formally.
That's the good way.
Machine. I mean, like, that's a little aggressive.
Yeah.
But
She, it's
I'd
kind
fart
of
in a lot
fitting.
of people's machines. I wouldn't fart in my wife's machine. Like, that's
And
just.
That
It's
would
like
be
a whole new
foolish.
Dutch oven.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Yeah, the modern version.
The modern version.
when we first started dating, she's a sweetheart. Everybody knows she's an absolute sweetheart. And we actually had a conversation where I taught her how to say fuck you. Because she doesn't like saying no to people. She's really nice. And we actually rehearsed her. And that's what she said. Fuck you. And that's what she just said to me. So
Like it.
She still says
That's
it with a
the-
southern drawl, too.
Yeah.
she does too. It's absolutely adorable.
Yeah, well, there's been a couple of times I've tried to get some free like psychological advice from her, and I wish Jason had told her about the "fuck you" part because
Oh, she
I still got some issues I'm trying to work out.
Boy, there's 100% chance that Natalie is taking notes on all of this flannel panel shit, and this is going to be like she's going to write a book one day and make a decision.
Yeah, I just need like 90 minutes with her one-on-one. Is all I need.
With
I
a
think
It'll be
little.
interesting. There's Carrie on the show, and there's Dean and Trey. And
Yeah, that's true. It's her thesis.
The names
Yeah,
to protect the innocent. It's fine.
she's making a lot of money on her asses.
As long as somebody is, I think we're fine.
That's true.
you can't monetize it with the viewership, so you do it with your
Yeah, that's
psychological book route tour.
Hey, I think we need to circle back on these whole flannel things because these fuckers are hot.
Oh, fuck you kidding me? I have to go
Circle back.
shower. Like,
Well,
Let's just call it the panel.
the panel.
so.
Like the view.
Can we just go
Dicks.
halftime? We'll just go Team Canada. Like it's we just got in a hockey fight. We'll just go tarps off at halftime. You wear it for the first
Arps off, boys.
tarps
Yeah.
off afterwards. We're all good.
That was a few weeks
wear
ago.
what you want panel.
There you go.
It's true.
Okay, I got real quick. I know you guys are probably ready to wrap up, but I got to
Nope.
say this anyway because I was jealous of the return of the Tees shirt, and I was trying to figure out, how I could get a shirt like that if I actually went to another one of the Whiskey Weekend Batch something or other. So I want the Weekend of Roadkill, and I'm thinking I'm the Roadkill because I'm a little hard to look at. There's a lot of substance there, but the taste is a little bad. The aftertaste is a little bad. So I want to be that one. That's me.
I'm
Corey can make you a t-shirt.
all t-shirts, and I will make t-shirts. Like
Yeah.
let's go.
The Weekend of Roadkill, and it's and it's the flannel panel.
Final panel
Weekend.
roadkill tour.
Yep. Yeah, live from Dallas, Texas.
I'm liking this.
Oh yeah.
I'll bring
I
the
was the one to
I'll
get
bring the
with Corey
beaver.
about.
So I've told you guys, if people come here, there's nothing off limits in the bar. So
Proven.
pick what you want.
He was trying to pour
Very
me crazy shit when I just came to see Garage Living. Like I stopped in just to say hey, and he was ready to bust open bottles like as a true brother. So it was a thing. He's not a
Because
liar.
I'm lonely. I'm just trying
Well,
to.
here's my deal. I want to get together. I'm going to the airport. I'm getting on a plane. You just tell me where the fuck I'm going.
Dallas.
I'm going to Dallas. Am I going to Kentucky? Am I going to Kansas? Where are we going? Utah. I'll go anywhere.
Kansas, Dallas, Utah, Canada.
Well, we got the Utah. We got to go and help fill bottles again, like we did last year.
Yeah.
And
Speaking of which,
fly down
my
to-
whole house has been like demoed since July, but we're getting countertops tomorrow, so we were like within a month of being completed here. So
I
pretty
love
soon
it.
you guys can come to Ohio and have an actual house to go
Love
to.
to visit Newton Hooten.
I'm in. Let's go.
Yeah.
Newton Hutton,
Wow.
the G unit.
Just come one time, god damn it.
I've been there.
Well,
Oh, you were in the driveway, but you know.
I picked you up.
yeah, we play Texas in a few weeks. Jason, come on.
You'll be
Hey,
Texas.
before we go, can I just tell a quick story about the first time I met Conway? The first weekend down at the Beaumont, was
I'm
it
not sure if I
batch
want
2?
Please.
And it's the last night, and we're drunk.
Ish.
And Conway says, Will and Grease were auctioning off a bottle of that Eagle Rare that, what was it called?
Special
Veterans.
Forces.
Oh, that was a mistake.
And he says, I'm sitting at the bar. He says, if I win this bottle, this shirt is coming off. And it wasn't like 15 seconds later, they called his name and he pulls her off and he's just strutting in all his glory. He's so proud. He's got that bottle of Eagle Rare and he was, and Nally could not take pictures fast enough.
She may have one. I think I remember.
Yeah. Unleash the physique.
Our next
Okay,
thumbnail with
so-
Conway on.
I did learn that my back is a lot more attractive than my front.
They're looking golden. They coming.
All right. I'll give you one more Conway story and then we can turn it
Oh
loose.
God.
So, no. These are all positive stories. So, listen.
Yeah, they sound like it.
Listen.
Listen.
So, was it 2 years ago? Whiskey weekend. Conway sitting right in front of me, and he was poured a pour of very limited edition Colonel Taylor. The
My tornado bottle, yeah.
that he to the group, and they poured it to Conway, and it was like a big tribute and the whole thing. And that sumbitch sat down in the seat right in front of me and didn't drink maybe even a sip, if anything, it may probably no, and just handed it over his shoulder and just goes, "Here you go." So, we baby birded that amongst like 6 of us back behind him, which was pretty funny. But that was a good brother night. So it was a tribute to Conway, and he just sat down and was like, "Nope,
Fuck them.
fuck that." And he's right back to it.
Conway's always good stuff.
Let's have a
Ian,
hell.
what did he have?
Oh, that Four
batch
Roses.
2 that he was passing out.
Was it a 17-year Four Roses?
Yeah, it was the 125th anniversary.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just like, just try this. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm drunk, but okay. Yeah.
I've been
Absolutely.
some pretty incredible pours to show back up in Dallas. I've been to the Garage Living facility. If you're interested in music, by the way, there's an extra bay. That's all music. That's like a stereo, crazy hi-fi that kind of you have to sit in the middle of this bench and like all of the speakers surround your head. Like it's a thing. So
That's awesome.
Destination, go see it.
Amazing. Well, this I think officially is the longest flannel panel yet. So Conway,
We probably should have ended it. Yeah.
we nailed it. No, Troy just got
Edit out the
in
first
flight.
20 minutes. Will be fun.
Yeah, Troy just got in flight with that. So
I got to
good
start
go.
drinking earlier. I'm sorry. I
feel like there's an extra space. Like if Ty was in there, it would be an even number. It'd just be 6. I think Conway would show up anytime he wants.
my
There's an
sponsor is like
open
disappointing me
invitation.
every Thursday morning.
Maybe edit that out. On that note, Conway, thanks for joining us. I hope that we see you many, many times in the future, and we'll have some more good conversation.
You got my Venmo account?
Yeah, we'll send all over the cash.
Yeah, absolutely. So until next time, Conway, do you know the tagline here?
Stay buttoned up.
Stay buttoned up.
Dang right.
Officially in the groups.
Cheers.
First
Conway's
time.
in. Conway's in.
Cheers.
I'm sweating like crazy, but I'm in.